Hello, my beautiful babies, and welcome to Incal Club Session 3. For this session, you need to have read the third issue from this graphic novel from the Incal. And just fun fact, if you missed out on getting an Incal box that has the graphic novel in it as well as the merchandise, I have a few of them available still on danikixix.bigcartel.com. And those are only available for my domestic peeps. So if you're international peep and you just want the merch, you know, you don't need the book, you can also get the Incal pack where you get an Incal pin. And there's an Anima bookmark, John DeFool on the other side. There's a thank you card and an 11x17 poster and an 8x10 signed Anima cosplay photo as well. So danikixix.bigcartel.com, check it out. Let's get into our recap of this issue. First, let me make myself a little smaller and get rid of this graphic. Here we go. Alright, I'm gonna put baby in the corner down here. I put baby in the corner. I'm the only one who's allowed to put baby in the corner. Okay, so here we go. John, Depot, Tanata, Saloon, the Meta Baron, and Kill Wolfhead are all riding the whirlpool down into the depths of the planet on the Metacraft. And this acid lake is so cool, this green lake. I love these colors. Especially like this panel up here. Oh my gosh, what a dynamic, cool panel. And so they're riding the whirlpool down. They are spit out into the underground level, the interior of the planet that Tanata was telling them about. And they are split up and they find themselves in this insane garbage heap. It's there's just garbage as far as the eye can see. And so, you know, we were talking about the city shaft representing, you know, socioeconomic hierarchies in a physical level. You know, it also represents the consciousness, like, of, you know, collective consciousness. Now the crew has gone down into the subconscious world. And in this subconscious world, again, as we see, it's just trash everywhere. Like the collective subconscious is just filled with garbage. And I really feel that. I was thinking about this while looking at my phone. You know, we're constantly, I don't know about you, but I'm, you know, on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm looking around on all these apps, I'm playing these dumb fucking games and shit. And it's just like, and you're just inundated with just so much trash from the internet. And like all of this is just like going into your subconscious. And especially doing like the May Meditation Motivation Challenge. Just sitting there and being still with your thoughts. It really lets you know, at least for me in my experience doing this, there's just so much crap in there. There's just so much garbage floating around in there. And like, I really need to like stop putting so much garbage in my brain and like get off the apps more, but like whatevs. Back to the story. John is confronted by a rat who grows in size and in numbers when he tries to kill it, as seen here. He's like, he tries to smash it. It gets way bigger. Before he knows it, there's like a whole bunch of bros coming for him. He is being, he's being surrounded. And his little intellect guy up here is like, no, John, use the Incal. It's our only chance. You know, and all four of them show up. It's so cute. You see the little intellectual guy, and then the emotional guy, and then the will guy, and then his material self, and they're all Incal. And here, hold on, let me move myself out of the way. I'm kind of messing it up here. And here we finally see Incal. He has four of his little selves calling upon it. And then down here it says Incal. call. So that's what Incal. I say Incal because I'm Southern and I just put things together. But really, it's supposed to be Incal. You've got to call within to the higher consciousness that we all have inside ourselves. So, yay! That's a fun discovery in this issue. I really like that a lot. And let me drag myself back down here. And so meanwhile, the rest of the gang are also being besieged by rats, as seen here. They're also having a tough time until Anima, the queen of the rats, comes to their aid, and she tells them that these animals are psycho rats. And the more that you fear them, the more they grow and multiply. And Anima charges them to empty their minds and let go of their fear and violence in order to get the psycho rats to go away and calm down and to not overwhelm them. And hold on, let me pull myself down here a little bit. There we go. And like, when I first read this, I was like, Anima, queen of the rats? Like, she's supposed to be this perfect woman, this Jungian archetype, but it's like, but rats, like, they're so dirty and like they're supposed to be vermin, and why would she be like the queen of the rats? And I was like really thinking about it, and I was doing some little Googling around, and you know, it's all about rat symbolism. Rats, these rats specifically, these psycho rats, are a metaphor for the shadow self of the collective unconscious. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, is the, you know, thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that we have that are the negative ones, the ones that we're not proud of, the ones that we want to hide, the ones we don't want to show the world, the ones that aren't socially acceptable, they're unwanted. And, you know, that's rats. Like, nobody wants rats, you know, like, and the thing about rats is like, you don't really see them during the daytime. Like, you don't really see them at all. You only catch glimpses of them. They're not like out and about. They're always kind of scurrying and hiding. And that's how the shadow self works. And then when you are confronted with them, it's generally at night. And that also really works as a metaphor with like our unwanted emotions and thoughts and feelings. Is how many of us have been up in the middle of the night? You know, you wake up and you're like thinking about things that are like unpleasant and they're keeping you up, you know, like during the day, oh, I'm doing stuff. Haha, you know, no one can get me. I'm not going to think about any of that bullshit. But then like when you're still and you're by yourself in the darkness, that's when these things come to the surface. And it's interesting how, and also, you know, like she says, let go of your fear and violence, because fear and violence only multiplies these things and it makes them grow. And that's also a really great metaphor for like, you know, confronting your fears. If you're afraid of them, if you hate them, you're only feeding them and you're going to make them grow stronger and bigger. Whereas if you calm down, take a breath, and then they will shrink if you just take a moment and you let go of your fear and violence. And, you know, if you guys got the Incal pack, that is in my Anima 11x17 poster that she's saying, let go of your fear and violence. I really love this line a lot. I think it's really fantastic. So as the group meditates, the rats depart, and Anima provides them with psycho rats to ride, and they start heading through the vast land of garbage towards the heart of the planet. And that's another really great metaphor of like Anima, who's this perfect woman, this image of this perfect woman. She is able to stabilize the psycho rats and ride them around. So it's like they're not all bad. And if you are in touch with your shadow self, you can use it in a positive way. You can saddle these negative shadow side emotions and they can, you know, lead you to other things. You can ride them around and, you know, they can be helpful to you. Because that's the thing too about rats is in Western tradition, they're seen as, dirty and gross and like, ooh, rats are terrible. People are very afraid of them. But in the Eastern tradition, in the Chinese zodiac, the rat is the first animal of the Chinese zodiac. And they're seen alternatively as, they're very intelligent. They're very clever. They're prosperous. They're great in number. And they're also good at staying alive. So they're seen as these kind of symbols of luck and prosperity in the Eastern tradition, which I think is really interesting. I was born year of the rat, so the rat is one of my totems, for sure. Because you gotta be crafty, and you keep going, and you do the thing. So I see rats kind of in a positive light as well, being born at the tail end of the year of the rat. And also, fun fact, I have been threatening to paint this page for years, and I'm finally making good on my threats. I'm finally doing it. I started putting this on a canvas, and I'm going to be painting it, and I'm going to try to get it done before the end of the month. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got most of it sketched out, but I'm really excited to show this painting to you guys when it's done. Every time I'm confronted with this page, I'm just blown away by it. I'm just obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with this page. I think it's so beautiful. I just can't. Like, it's just too much. And so I thought it would be really fun a really fun exercise to reproduce it. And so far I'm having a really good time doing that. So Cat Money asks what medium. I will be painting it in acrylic on an 18 by 36 canvas. So yes, it's not just a threat anymore. Well, I still have to finish it before I can, really pat myself on the back. So I've got it started. Hopefully we get it finished. So anyways, back on the surface, the necrodroid, the president who has transferred his consciousness into this necrodroid, he senses the group and heads towards the whirlpool. And also, the president has taken over all of the channels and is broadcasting his data feed throughout the universe, throughout the human empire. So not just on this planet, but his data feed is being projected like all over the galaxy. And let's see here. So nearing the interior sun of the planet, that's where they're trying to get to, Anima senses the necrodroid has entered the whirlpool, and she and John concentrate on joining their Incals to close the acid whirlpool. Here they are, working together. She's got the black one, he's got the white one, and they collapse the whirlpool in on the necrodroid, and they have not defeated him, though. They do not succeed in destroying it, but merely slowing it down, and it is eventually spit out into the trash heap. It finds its way into the unconscious. And the necrodroid's outer shell is destroyed. So this little kind of walking robot comes out of it and continues on its mission while the people at home continue to watch on their TVs, as seen in this panel. Dear telefriends, let's leave the garbage storm briefly and go to our game show, Who Wants to Execute a Rebel? Hilarious. The game show, Who Wants to Execute a Rebel? Like, it's so... One of my favorite things about dystopian future visions that come from the 80s is the satire of game shows that get really twisted and evil. Like, I just love that idea. Estevan, yes, climbing for dollars. We'll be right back. Yes, if you've seen The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which The Running Man itself is the #1 broadcast, and you have all these inmates who are put in this, evil game show where they have to get through all these mazes and stuff without being killed by these stalkers. But then it also shows these commercials for other twisted game shows like Climbing for Dollars, where this guy's climbing up a rope and there's all these like dogs like trying to eat him. And then you see him and he falls and it's like, oh no, he's gonna die. And I believe like the Spidey Sensei, the commercials in RoboCop too. RoboCop also features like really twisted commercials of like future dystopian things that crack me up. But anyway, so you have these people here And this guy's like, I like the acid whirlpool scene. And he's like, he's so, and like people are just so disconnected. He thinks it's like a scene. Like he describes it as a scene. And it's like, it's not a scene. It's like, it's happening. Like this is real. But they're just like, ugh. And the mythical lands of Center Earth, who would have believed it? You know, it's so exciting. Hollow Earth theory is really exciting. If you didn't know, there is a theory that some people have. You know, you've heard of flat Earth. Everyone's heard of flat Earth, right? Where people think that the Earth isn't really round and that's flat. Well, there's another theory that's called the Hollow Earth theory, where some people believe that there is an opening somewhere and that in the interior of the Earth is hollow, and that there's a whole other land inside there of like shit that's going on. It was actually featured in the Godzilla vs. King Kong movie. If anybody saw that, it was definitely in there. Jay Spumati says it was a fail. Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong touched on it. So, but this is apparently like the Nazis were into that, and they were like exploring Antarctica, trying to find an entrance into like the Hollow Earth stuff. And it's just like, it's like so crazy. It's like, what? Like, because they were into they were like exploring all of the occult weird theories. But anyways, I love this guy too. We're the best at making garbage. Like they're watching the garbage plane and he's like, we're the best at making garbage. And like, isn't that the truth? Humanity, we really are the best at making garbage. We make so much garbage. Like it's incredible. Like it's so insane. Shaking his fist. It's so good. Moving on. So the Incal energy that John and Anima has used has created a garbage storm, and the group goes to take shelter in an old shipping container. They find an old shipping container. And while inside, Tanata opens her eyes, but she is unable to speak. And once again, using their Incal powers, they are able to heal the broken vertebra in her neck. She's got something going on down there, and she's all better, although she's not very like pleased with them for doing that and is kind of a bitch about it, but whatevs. The group gets some sleep, and the storm outside rages, and when the Metabaron awakens, the storm is past, and Saloon is gone, and he goes outside to find him on top of a garbage heap crying. And Saloon is upset that his mother, Anima, has not acknowledged him, and he feels abandoned and unloved, because when she was born, she just gave him to the Metabaron, never said when she was going to be back. He finally meets his mom, and she just hasn't even like spoken 2 words to him. Like she's just been like, whatever, dude, like we're doing other stuff. Like that's not important. And the Metabaron reassures Saloon. He's like, hey man, she's got to be a warrior right now. Like, you know, like chill out, dude. It's totally fine. And it's also, if you've read The Metabarons, which is a spin-off series written by Jodorowsky, all about the Metabaron and his line and where he comes from. I mean, like, the Metabaron familial relationship is really gnarly and hardcore. It's just like, I can see why the Metabaron would be like, you know what, it's fine, just chill out. Because like in the Metabaron world, like you've got to kill your dad. Like, you know, like you've got to defeat your dad in combat and kill him to become the Metabaron. Like they have these like really fucked up relationships, which is really fun and interesting. But yeah, so they make their way back to the container, and they make it inside just as they are being attacked by the garbage eaters. So that mutant we saw earlier, those mutants we saw earlier, they're actually garbage eaters from the subconscious, and they're led by this guy Gorgo. And I love that, like, get the slime ropes. Like, they've got these disgusting slime ropes. They're trying to hold the shipping container from flying away. Inside, John and Anime are again using their magical Incal powers together to like try to fly away. And they do get away. They get free and they go towards the interior sun, but Gorgo and the Necrodroid are still in pursuit. Gorgo almost makes it, but the Metabaron knocks him off. And then he sees where they're going. Here we have the Necrodroid, and he steps on the mutant, like, get out of my way. And he is also still on the mission, on the move towards the center of the planet. At the base of the beam, they finally get there. The base of the beam that leads to the sun, it is a labyrinth. And while they're on their way to the center of it. Anima is leading the group. John and the Metabaron get some time to talk while Anima leads them, and he learns how Saloon came to be the Metabaron's surrogate son. So in this beautiful panel here, just so gorgeously colored, she comes to him, and he's, again, much like John, is just struck by her and is willing to just do whatever. Like, whoa, whatever you ask, lady. Like, I love you so much. I'll do whatever you want. And takes charge of Saloon's upbringing. And then meanwhile, you have the Necro Droid over here, and he's not gonna go through this maze. He's just gonna laser some holes through the walls and just go right to the center that way. So these guys, our group, they finally make it to the center, and the Guardian says to Anima that the key that will open the interior sun's door is a peaceful heart. So they all have to have peace in their heart. So in order for them to go up to the center, they got to let go of some shit. And the Guardian says, Saloon must make peace with Anima. Tanita must make peace with Anima. Wolfhead must make peace with John DeFool. And Tanita's like, okay, you're right. It's either this or death, so I give it up. Saloon, she's like, don't even worry about it, babe. Saloon's like, I'm sorry. He's like, babe, you're so perfect. You're already good. Like, don't even worry about it. And Kill is just like, he is having some issues because he's a man who's driven by his animal instincts. And they're like, dude, you gotta let it go. Like, we're gonna get murdered here. We're gonna get slaughtered. You gotta let it go. Like, Depot's like, what are you doing, dude? And he finally lets it go. And I love it. Oh, John, I'm so sorry. I love you. Like, it's so cute. And it's activated right before the Necro Droid gets to the center, and they go flying up towards the center. And this, again, what a beautiful illustration. Just like so well done. And I just love it. I think it's just really pretty. So moving on. So now we're leaving the planet. We're leaving our heroes. And there is an Imperial General Assembly going on. This is near the center of the galaxy. We have a group of Kamar people carrying damaging evidence, and they are getting ready to intrude upon the Emperoress's Imperial court at the center of the Golden Planet. Beautiful, as seen here. And here we have the Emperoress, which we met last issue. And, they're there having a big meeting about all the crazy shit that's going on. There are riots spreading all over the galaxy. So not only is it in John DeFool's city shaft, but because the Necro Droid has been projecting his feed to 22,000 other planets in the galaxy, it has inspired riots on thousands of planets. In addition to all of these riots, you have the Bergs that are attacking. And on top of that, you have the Shadow Eggs, which are wreaking havoc on the Imperial fleet. They're attempting to eat suns. It's a real bugaboo out there. It's real tough out there. The Techno Guild is denying any involvement, and they try to shift the blame to the Emperoress, and the Economats ally with the Technos, while the colonial planets are objecting. So you have all these different powers in the universe. It's very Dune-like, where you've got like CHOAM, and then you've got the great houses, and it's kind of a very similar thing, and also to the way our governments work here. And I love the technos are so gross. They're like, this black egg is obviously a political trick. They want to frame the Techno Guild for this disaster, so they've made an unholy imitation of our precious psycho-abdomens. The true blame is with that bio-fetus. It's just like, nah, dude, you guys, it's you. And it's you. But you're just like trying to shift the blame. It's just like so gross. And like, this is what happens every day in governments. It's really creepy. Ramo and his crew, they bust in, and they are trying to essentially stage a coup. They are asking the Emperoress to place embargoes on the Technos, on the Economat, on this elite leader, Iman, who's kind of like the Baron. We see him right here. He's like this fat guy down here. He's very Baron Harkonnen-ish. And he's brought with him this the sun. This is a sun that's been eaten by one of the shadow eggs, and it's now just a little lump of coal. And yeah, just chaos is in the court. You know, all the people are like, oh my God, yes, we've got to get rid of these assholes. You know, Ramos says they're making more of them, like the Economats and Iman and the Technos. Like, these guys are really shitty. We really need to let us take power. Emperoress, I beseech you to reduce the privileges of the Techno Guild and the Economat worlds. They have power, but we have numbers, and our numbers give us the right. Justice is on our side, and they're on the verge of, potentially staging this coup. And you have the Technos over here like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've got like all these fucking shadow eggs lined up. And so the Endo Guard, the Royal Guard, is let loose upon them. And he's like, yes, finally, we're going to have justice. We're going to get these elites out of here. We're going to drain the swamp. This guy's like ready. And oh my gosh. Oh, it's a double cross. The Endo Guards are not working for the Emperoress. They, I guess, have been paid off or whatever. And they end up attacking the Emperoress. And here we go. Oh no, the royal bubble is breaking. And Iman takes over. He is now going to crown himself the new Emperoress of the galaxy. And he tells the Endo Guards to execute anyone who doesn't applaud loudly enough, which gets everybody on his side real quick. And I think it's interesting. His name is Iman Horlog. And I was like, Iman, like I man. Like, is he, because I know that's also a Muslim term, but it's not being used in that way. I looked up what it meant, and it's like, this is totally not it. I feel like more it's like, I am a man. I represent just the material, like the highest of the lowest, the highest of the lowest type of dudes who will do anything for power and are terrible people. So Ramo and his crew, they almost got those guys to go to jail, but then they end up going to jail. They're sent to a water planet called Aqua End, and this is very similar to Dune, except instead of a planet without water, it's a planet without land. So it's a prison planet that is just besieged by storms constantly. And will they survive? That is the big question. We will find out in our next chapter. But back to Anima and the crew. They make it to the interior sun, and they are welcomed by the Arhats, the ancient guardians of legend. And Arhats is like a Buddhist term for a person who's reached nirvana, a religious person who lives a religious life, who's become enlightened and reached nirvana. So you have all these like little old men up here, and they're super cute. And again, what a beautiful page. Just like absolutely gorgeous. Yes, Thulsa Doomed. I also love this panel. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And the Arhats instruct the group to pass through a mirror, which is really a vibrating doorway to the singing forest of crystals. So they let them know, here you go. Here's the mirror. You got to go through the looking glass. And, I don't know if you've noticed, but in stories, mirrors are representative, have been used as portals to parallel worlds. So they have now gone through the looking glass and have entered a parallel world. I was really proud of them for all getting through. They got through pretty easily on this one. They did a pretty good job. And they get into the Forest of the Singing Crystals, which also is just, how beautiful is this? I love, again, the colors. It's just so pretty with the purples, the yellows, and the reds and the oranges. It's just absolutely gorgeous. This is like I think it's called an analogous color scheme, where you have like the yellows, the reds, and the oranges are all kind of on the same part of the color wheel. But then you also, to pop out, you have the purple, which is yellow's complementary color. So those two things like really pop against each other. They look really beautiful. And Depot, even though they've been warned, do not brush up against a crystal because it's going to cause the crystal forest, to start singing, and then you're going to pass out. He was like, oh, what if I just touch it with my feather? And he does. I don't know what Depot's thinking here. It's like, bro, what are you doing? And he causes the crystalline forest to come alive and start singing. And it puts all of them to sleep. And this reminded me a whole lot of Oz in the Oz movie, where Dorothy and the gang are almost to the Emerald City. And there's a field of poppies. And the field of poppies causes them all to, well, most of them to fall asleep. The Tin Man is not affected by it. And I don't believe the Straw Man, the Scarecrow, is affected by it either. So anyways, they all pass out. Meanwhile, while they're snoozing, the Necrodroid makes it to the center, and instead of having a peaceful heart and going to the center of the sun, he digs out the crystal that creates the anti-grav lift, absorbs its energy to fly up into the interior sun, although he takes a lot of damage for that. Again, his robotic shell is so damaged that the Necrodroid shifts into another form, into Panzer mode. So now he is a little tank, which is really cute. And also still he's projecting his data feed. And so now the R-hats are being projected into homes all over the galaxy. And they're just like so cute. They're just like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? What's up? You should, if you want to go through the mirror, you gotta vibrate with it. It's totally cool. And of course, the Necrodroid has no intention of being chill. He has no chill. He pays them no attention and smashes through the mirror into the singing forest. He's bulldozing crystal trees. He's going totally bonkers over here. Check him out. And he creates such a cacophony from all of this destruction that it awakens the crew. They are awakened from their slumber and they run towards the crystal tower right here, and race up its spiral ramp and down into the portal of transfiguration that is found at its summit. Here we go. And again, I love so many. I mean, there's a lot of double page spreads in this particular episode that we're doing because there's just the art is just so good, and I just have to show so much of it. It's just like, this is such a beautiful, really well done issue. And, I even just love like the detail of like all these guys climbing down. Like they're all like, you have the Meta Baron at the very bottom. You have somebody mid-action who's coming down. You have somebody who's just like waiting to kind of like fall down. You have this guy climbing down his way. Saloon getting ready. It's just like it's just so fucking beautiful. It's so well done. And this looking up image here is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Very pretty. I love it. And it's like candy for my eyeballs. So they go down the portal of transfiguration. They make it down to the bottom. And each member has to take their place at the corner of this little symbol that's at the bottom. And they're all drawn to their specific corners. Like, oh, I feel comfortable only in this corner. So they all take their positions. And Saloon is placed at the center of this configuration. He's a little weird about it, feels a little weird about it. And Anima tells them they must strip themselves of their spiritual self-concepts and bare their souls. I love this too. He's like, okay, everyone strip, and Kill starts taking off his clothes. She's like, no, dude, not like that. Like, just, you gotta bare your soul. Okay, we're bearing our souls here. This is what we're doing. And Saloon, you must leave your childhood behind and become your essential self. And you must rebuild your axis. And as Saloon meditates upon this, he becomes the perfect androgyne, these essential male and female divine energies. What a cool concept. He splits into two beings. And the group has formed an entity of transdimensional energy at this point. Here we go. Doorway configuration. So they've just turned into energy now. And they have gone into a portal into another dimension where they find Pyramid Island. It is the source of the two Incals. It's an interdimensional nexus point where the two Incals can be united as one. So this is where the Incals come from. The white one comes from the very tip of this pyramid. The black one comes from the very tip of this pyramid. And so they align themselves in between these two pyramids. And so Loon asks for the mother, which is Anima, to place the black Incal at the base. And for the father, where John is, to place the white Incal at the top. And John tries to pass the request on to the Meta Baron. He's like, well, you're his dad. Like, I'm not his dad. Like, you should do it. And the Meta Baron's like, yeah, you're right. I'll totally do it. And Anima's like, no! John has to do it because, dun, 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 John is Saloon's father. Oh my God, John DeFool is Saloon's dad. Oh, like, what a fucking mind blower here. What a mind blower here. Yeah, she stole his seed. And another, just another quick little cutie thing to be aware of. Let me move myself out of the way. So I love how when John is like at his highest self, he becomes beautiful. Like, look how long his hair is. And he's like hot now. Like, look, he's like handsome. It's so awesome how Mœbius draws him when he's like at his highest self, as he becomes very handsome. And so, and again too, like in this panel right here, like he's just so beautiful. And Anima reveals that years ago, she disguised herself as a homeo whore and, stole John's seed to get pregnant because he was the only one whose genetic code could produce the perfect androgyne mutant with Anima. He was the only one whose seed could produce Saloon. And, Anima was charged by the Incal to do this, and she'll do whatever it takes. She doesn't give a fuck. And John is like, and I love how he's like, but why me? Did you sense my inner strength? And Tanita cuts him down. Don't be a idiot, John DeFool. What you have become is only virtual. Deep down, you're still just a pathetic Class R detective. Like, shut up, dude. You still fucking suck. But he's like, you know what? I'm ready to place the Incal for the son who is mine by divine will. And he accepts his duty. And the pyramids awaken and intersect one another and form a starship with Saloon dematerialized, acting as the ship's consciousness. Like, it's kind of like the opposite of the Necro droid, where the president put his consciousness in this like mechanical like death machine, and Saloon has put his consciousness in this spiritual starship that's not really a machine, but like it's taking that form. But yeah, she pretended to be a robot sex worker. Yes. Anyways, speaking of the Necro droid, the president has taken the plunge down the portal of transfiguration and crashes outside of the starship. Here he is. Oh, ding, 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 ding. People at home are feeling a little sick watching it go down. And he interrupts John and John's pity party with Anima. He's over here like, everyone else is inside the starship. And here's Saloon, by the way. Saloon's just a weird double pyramid now. He's become an angel from Evangelion. And DeFool and Anima are outside the starship. They need to kind of go inside. And she's like, come on, let's go. And he's like, I've been used. It really bugs me. Like, you even used my sperm without asking me. And where can I go now? Everything's been destroyed. No more Red Ring, no more detectives, no more drugs, no more homeo whores, nothing. I only had one ally, one advantage, the Incal, and you took that from me too. I mean, he's like, even my son has surpassed me. Like, ugh, like he's such a fucking bitch. He's just like really bitching out right now. But anyways, in the middle of this, the Necro droid comes down, transforms yet again into this holovid camera with legs. And John's just like had enough, man. He's really pissed and he needs someone to take his anger out on. And he takes it out on the Necrodroid. He's just fucking done. And this cracks me up how he attacks the Necrodroid. And of course, he's on camera while doing this. And he's being projected into the homes of, you know, millions of people around the galaxy. And he says, no more, leave your Connaps, go out into the world, go towards the light, Carol Ann, the light. And I love how someone's like, what is this an ad for? I don't understand. And then he's crazy. And then again, look at how ugly he is when he's angry. Like he's gone from being this very beautiful, like gorgeous creature. And then when he gets angry, he just gets like really ugly looking. Yeah, he goes nuts. He destroys the feed. He destroys the Necrodroid. I mean, it's still alive, but he destroys the broadcast and takes the legs off of it. And so now that there's nothing for people to watch, they all leave their Connaps, you know, and they're, help, what do? We don't have any TV anymore. Oh my God, help. You know, like I feel like that would happen if like, say there was this mass coronal ejection and it just like wiped out everybody's like electronics and like nobody had phones. There was no streams. There was no television. There was no phones to look at. And we'd just be like, help, we'd all go outside, which, you know, wouldn't be the worst thing for humanity. I mean, even though that would totally fuck, like my job is totally dependent upon all of these things. It would also be kind of a positive in a lot of ways. And now that he's exercised his anger, he feels much better. He's like, okay, I'm ready to go back inside. It's totally chill. We're totally fine. And they go into the ship and they blink into space. This is our final page. And they go up above their planet and they see the Shadow Egg, which is trying to eat their son. So that is the end of what lies beneath. That is the end of our Incal our Incal episode this week. Let me make myself a little bit larger. Hold on. Do you like the sound effects that I put on there for you? It's live. It's done live just for you. All right. So that's it for today's lesson. For next session, you need to read the next issue of this comic book, which is called What is Above. We've gone What Lies Beneath. We've gone to the bottom. We've gone through the subconscious. Now it's time to go to the top. What is above? We're going to find out next week. And also for May's Meditation Motivation Challenge for week 3, if you are still doing this, you must do 15 minutes a day. We started with 5 minutes. We went to 10 minutes. And now we're at 15 minutes of daily practice. It's been going pretty well for me. I'm doing it. I've been doing it. Some days I don't feel like it, but I've been keeping up on it. I haven't skipped a day. I feel good about that. But also, I feel like it's better for me if I do it in the morning rather than at night. I get impatient at night because I'm just ready to lay down and go to bed. So I think it's better for me to do it in the daytime, and I hope it's going well for you too. And another thing before we wrap up, I just want to let you know that if you missed out on getting an Incal box that has all of the merch plus the book, if you're a domestic peep, you can buy that on danikahxix.bigcartel.com if you want to get a copy of the graphic novel. And you also get an 8x10 signed Anima cosplay photo, the Incal pin, you get a Anima bookmark, and then John DeFool on the other side, and a thank you card, and 11x17 Anima cosplay poster. So the packs are still available. They're available right now. You can go get it immediately. It's ready for you. It's ready for you, for all my international and domestic people. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me with Incal Club, and I'll see you all next week.